Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
And I'm fully vaxxed. Thank
Congrats.
you. My name is Chemda. Thank you. Do you have this thing? I know you don't, because I know it's a weird thing that I do. When you get a shot and they give you a Band-Aid, right?
Uh-huh.
How long do you keep the Band-Aid on? Because here's my stupid thinking is this. There's a hole in my skin now, right? And it has medicine in it. This is totally false, okay? No one's a scientist here, and no one's going to sound like one for the next minute.
I feel like based on that, I'm a scientist, but go ahead.
Yes, that's fair. There's a hole in my skin, and it got filled with medicine, but now that spot is sensitive, and it has access to the world and its germs. This Band-Aid is keeping that hole closed and keeping out the vulnerabilities, and I'm afraid to take it off.
How you don't fall for every QAnon thing? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, and by the way, how is the earth a circle? I have never walked off, and I walk a lot.
We'd be falling all over the fucking place.
Oh, I do fall all over the place. Oh,
no. See? No, I keep it on I kept my Band-Aids on for a little bit just to, it's like my I voted sticker. But, after a couple hours of bragging, yeah, I think it's safe to take it off.
Yeah, I think it was safe like a half an hour after. I think it's safe even if maybe you don't put on that Band-Aid. But look how scared I am to even say those words.
Right. Well, I want to talk more about your experience because your first shot was a doozy. We'll remind people. We had silent trailers, of course, this weekend, and it got down to the wire. And it did not only one answer did it get down to, it got down to, and points get doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. It got down to 1 point.
Let me tell you something. This was the most genuinely heated game. We've done about 10, 12, maybe something around that. And in the middle of this, from the start, they were like, fuck you, Keith. I mean, Liz Mealy was like, you fucking invited me to this. Right. You came to my cat's birthday. I thought we were friends. Like, you were losing all of these friends. Everyone hated you. And I believed some of the hate.
I believed some of it.
So mad. I was cracking up the whole time. And then it came down to the final round, and Shane Moss did the math. And then everyone got defeated. So, well, we all have to get it right, or blah, blah. He carried the one in his head. It was amazing. And then as they got, the right answer after the right answer, you saw the game wasn't bullshit anymore. They weren't mad anymore. All the categories that we made up in that production meeting were suddenly brilliant. It was just crazy. So much fun.
Yeah, it was fun until the very end. So, spoiler, they won.
I think if
it is good
won,
though. They look cruel. They were ready to kill me. I don't know how many people thought it was rigged.
Yeah. No, I think too many people on that game show knew where you lived, and it was much safer if you lost that game just by 1 point. But it was such a nail biter and so hilarious and so fun. And we meet some people backstage who get the backstage pass before, and the people who play the game. And our guest today has played and probably will play again. Now you know this. The people before. We're guessing who's going to be the one who comes the latest to the Zoom, to the mic check, who's going to not be ready.
I'm pretty good at that, but that should be worth points.
That should be worth points.
Right. And if everybody's on time, I can't get any points.
That's well, then you have to be negative points. We got to take some points away from you. You're too good at this.
1 point away. My goodness. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, Keith and the Girl Day is July 4th. That is all of a sudden next week. So if you want to get your Keith and the Girl gear to show off on July 4th, go to the site now, keithandthegirl.com/gear. All new things, GEAR. On July 4th, share your Keith and the Girl gear. Tag us at Keith and the Girl on your favorite social media, and we'll share your picture. keithandthegirl.com/gear. All new designs, shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, a shit ton of colors and sizes. Take a look, all right?
I love it. I love the words that we put in our URL, keithandthegirl.com/gear, that like you could see Keith's face working overtime to enunciate so he can pronounce it right, because it also because his beer and bear game is confusing. So I don't know what gear could sound like, but you nailed it, Keith. You did really good.
Philosophically is easier, to be honest. I could say manipulative. is easier.
You sort of can, yeah.
Well, I was trying to do 3 in a row like an asshole. That was on me. Today's guest, you love him. You already know who it is. You saw it on the podcast title, and you're very excited. It's the great Mike Kaplan, for God's sake. You know Mike Kaplan.
The very first time that I ever drank ayahuasca in a ceremonial ritual, the guide who led it, he came to me before and he said, "Have you done this before?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Have you done mushrooms?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Good, good, good. It's very different." So I would say that it's sort of like if mushrooms could do mushrooms. If mushrooms were like, "I thought we were mushrooms. Were we kale the whole time?" Before I'd ever done it, I didn't believe in the human soul. If you ask me what a human is, I'd be like, I don't know, we're like meat, and then electricity runs through us. So I guess a human is electric meat. That's what I would say. Show me on the board an electric meatsicle. We talked to 100 electric meat pops, and they all said, "Please don't call us that." But now I do believe in the soul. One soul that exists, that is the universe, that is all of us, that is New Jersey and Old Jersey, all Jersey, timeless Jersey, time and space, everywhere, everything. You could call it God if you want. That means we're all God's molecules, or maybe we're God's fingers. Some of us are the middle fingers, and those are hecklers. The point is, we're all part of the same thing. We're all one body of the universe. And you might be like, "But I'm over here and you're over there." But yeah, my foot's over there. My ear's over here. My foot's not my ear, but they're still part of the same thing. Like maybe sometimes we're one thing and sometimes we're another. Sometimes you're an open palm. Sometimes you're a clenched fist. And that's sometimes people are like, "You got to be tough because the world is tough." I'm like, well, maybe. But also, if you're tougher, I think that makes the world tougher because you're part of the world. And if you're kinder, I think that makes the world kinder because you're part of the world. And I was trying to describe this all to a skeptical friend. He was like, "Okay, so you went to a shaman from the jungle. He brewed you a potion out of magic leaves. You had epiphanies, and the big one you came out with was be nice." I was like, "Yeah, that's about right." And he was like, "You got ripped off. Be nice, we already knew that. Be nice, learned it in kindergarten. Be nice, everybody knew that. Be nice, I knew that." And I was like, "It kind of seems like maybe it didn't, though." What with your yelling, "Be nice" at me right now? He apologized.
I apologize. This son of a bitch. He's appeared on The Tonight Show, Conan, Letterman, James Corden, Seth Meyers, Comedy Central, Last Comic Standing, America's Got Talent. He has 5 albums. You just heard a section from AKA is the name of that one. And in your VIP package, Flavor of the Month, 4 episode special, Philosophically Speaking. Hello, Mike Kaplan.
Hello. Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. That was beautiful. And I also really appreciate you spelling the word gear, definitely, as well.
Thank you.
Also, isn't it great? You introduced yourself. Not many of our guests do that. And you had a secret impersonation of Keith, which was spot on. I love this sort of Easter egg thing in your comedy, where it's like you mentioned on the show that one of your jokes sort of came from your interaction with Keith, and then listening to the album, Keith, you guessed which part, right?
Right. And I didn't want to ask at the time. You know, I've heard this before, but I didn't want to ask because that would be an insult, of course. My favorite part is when he throws in "my friend apologized," because he doesn't want the audience angry at this fake person. Just so you know, he's cool. Anyways, so thank you for that. Why do you hang out with assholes? He apologized. Don't you remember? End of track 15, he apologized.
It's so funny because, you know, Keith has played some acting roles, and I feel like you always play the asshole friend.
Right.
And now you're playing roles in stand-up shows.
Yeah.
And you're still playing the asshole friend.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying better get help.
Well, I was in stand-up and I didn't have to practice. So there you go, comedians.
Mike, did you consider doing more of a voice or a more exaggerated thing or anything like that?
You mean to further identify Keith as...
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Be like, so my friend came to me and said, "Here's the ting."
You could try what Keith does when he does impersonations. He goes, "I'm Mike Kaplan. I'm an asshole."
And who is that?
I'm Mike Kaplan.
Right.
Oh yeah, you're right. He usually closes it off. He goes, I'm Mike Kaplan. I'm an asshole. I'm Mike Kaplan.
Yeah, I guess for the next, maybe for like the 20-year, re-release, I'll do some like bonus content. I'll re-record some of the jokes. And so here's the, I can't believe you got ripped off. I love Andrew Dice Clay. I'll throw things,
For no reason.
Yeah. I don't wear sleeves. You're getting ripped off, and also my sleeves are getting ripped off.
Ew.
Can't they cancel Jupiter's Legacy as I'm watching it? It sucks balls. Keith Malley.
I really like the comic books of Jupiter's Legacy. I don't know if you read comic books, but
I'm Mike again.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
But Mike is, of course, one of the nicest people I know. In that same album, he talks about, if you heard that I was involved in a murder, that means I'd be dead, right?
That's
what
me.
What are you like? I don't know if I asked you
This is Keith
before.
doing an impersonation of Mike now.
Right. We're gonna do each other. You'll get it by the end of the show. What are you like in arguments? Do you upset your partner because you are so factual and calm? And obviously, we can get through anything because sometimes they hate that.
Great question. I would say it really depends who I'm arguing. If you're talking about like my partner, my romantic partner, I would say when I am peaceful and calm, I am not arguing. That arguing generally happens when I'm hungry, when when I haven't had enough water recently, when I haven't slept as well, if something else is bothering me. So I don't think that I am the most objective and the most logical, because I feel like it'll go like this. I'll be like, and really, Reni's part of the argument, which I don't think that her part of it is an argument. I feel like she's just like the wind, or some natural force of just existence that's just like, that is how things are. And I'm like, no, it's not. And she'll be like, is it possible? Like, when is the last time that you ate? And I'll be like, it was a long time ago, but this isn't about that, And then I will eat.
Is it almost like if you recognize your girlfriend's has PMS? Like if me and you are arguing, I can't just hand you a bottle of water, right? That's an insult.
I am getting better at trusting that I don't always know. Like, I feel like my best self, which I am not always, is like, compassionate, loving, open-hearted, kind, as well as, potentially logical, reasonable, and
are you doing an impersonation of yourself again?
Yeah, that's no. This is Keith.
Logical.
Yeah. No, that was you. I was being you that time. It's subtle. We're very similar, you and I. But yeah, I think I definitely initially resist the idea that the thing going on is that I have some need that's not being met. But zooming out, it is almost always that is so.
See, but you can't know that when you're in the middle of it. And to Keith's point, when people recognize, and it's usually my partner, that I have PMS, or like people who work around me a lot, and it's like, are you PMSing? And I just want to yell, but that has nothing to do with it. You would still be an asshole if I wasn't PMSing. But like you said, when you zoom out, after you drop the egg, you sort of go, ooh, yeah, might have been a little intense, even though like you could be right still too. I was right, but I could have been a little bit different. But I hate it. And it's hard to not feel condescended to when someone's like, you maybe want a little snack? You maybe you wouldn't be an asshole to me if I carried some Cheerios with me.
I think we should start normalizing that it's obviously for any gender, this could be so, but like, I'm going to start calling it PMS when it's pre-meal syndrome. And so, we can then hopefully go far enough in the other direction. I'll invite my girlfriend to be like, are you PMSing? Is this are you too far from your last meal? And then, to hopefully have fun with it. But yeah, I think also, it's important. I've talked with my girlfriend a lot about like when she is, the amount of impact that a period can have on a person. I mean, it is similar to the amount of impact that hunger or lack of sleep or lack of thirst, like, some people, there's a varying number of spectrums of how people are impacted by these things. But periods impact like half of the population, 1/4 of the time approximately, and people aren't talking about it. Male comedians aren't talking about periods enough, is what I think.
Well, I think here's what happened. We used to be all fucked up about PMS, right? So nobody wanted to talk about the actual period. I remember hiding pads, mothers would shush around their daughters or, after they come out their sons, whatever it is. And then comedians were fine making jokes with it, and women started getting insulting, or maybe this is just my cycle. I started being like, okay, but you only take my words seriously when I'm yelling or angry or annoyed. And that means that you're only responding to me mostly in this time where I am annoyed. And you're not taking me seriously because you just throw it away for this time. Now I'm going to pretend I don't have PMS and everything is the same. So now I'm faking it. And just so that you don't not listen to me because I'm in that time. And now I'm hoping we're claiming it back going, yes, I'm having this time. Please be gentle on me now. So if you know that I'm PMSing, could you shift a little bit also? And then maybe I'll feel nurtured. It'll give me that food maybe so I can relax.
We have PMS is what couples should say.
Oh my God. Like how they say we're pregnant. I understand it and I'm fine with it, but it's still my old school thinking is still like, are we pregnant? But we are pregnant, right? Like we are having a baby. No, only one of us is pregnant. I can't with that one. I can't get over that one. Are you guys over that one?
I'm okay with people. I don't think about it a lot. I'm not, we are not worried. You and I.
I did ayahuasca once, and now anybody I see that's pregnant, I say we're pregnant.
Yeah, we the human race are pregnant. I accept.
Right, like your pregnancy is over there, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a part of you. So it's my pregnancy.
Really understand me, I think. You're my friends.
I don't like when he says that.
Right. No, it's true. Sincerely, like one of the things that I've like learned in the past couple of years and continue to learn is how much like when I have a judgment of someone else, it is truly a thing that is in part about me, or if not totally about me, because I truly don't know what another person's experience is, and I only know what my own experience is. Like Jacqueline Novak and Chris Laker told me a thing they do sometimes is when they insult someone else, whenever they say something mean, they always add "just like me" at the end of it. Be like, look at what a huge asshole that guy's being, just like me, and then you're covered.
That's a good one. That's like the Rastafarian saying "I and I." Sure.
Yeah, I understand like why it's taboo to bring up PMS, of course, and it's because, like you were saying, all the jokes guys make or guys weren't taking you seriously. I remember we did a podcast on PMS. Nikki Glazer and Sarah Schaefer that you can find. And that felt very good because they're listening and talking and explaining things to my dumb male brain. Now, it was talking about my ex also, and we broke up. So that issue didn't help it. But to talk about it felt good. Who, PMS aside, who is more in your relationship, Mike, more logical or more... Logical even sounds pretentious, right? It sounds like you're right. Or feelings...
Who flies off the handle less?
Well, I'll like if me and Kyle get into something, it's like, oh, it's a misunderstanding, and the misunderstanding I can point out in our text where it went wrong, and we started, and then it's like, no, just understand my feelings, and I'm thinking your feelings will change though if you scroll up. That doesn't mean I don't care, right? So I'm trying to find an in between. How about with you guys, Mike?
I think the major thing that I have learned and had to contend with, or a thing, is that when like I am more of a person who wants to, when there is a challenge, like address it, immediately, in the moment, like it's happening. like my mom has a thing with her mom who died recently that they were like, we got a 24-hour rule. If you're upset, you have to share it within 24 hours or else you can never bring it up again.
Oh, wow.
And
Whoa.
and that's not my policy. Okay. But that is where I came from. And I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this now. I want to talk about it now. If things aren't, even keeled, if we don't have an equilibrium in our relationship now, I'm like, let's talk about it so we can get there. Whereas Rini is more of a person who wants to have time to process on her own what she's experiencing, what she's feeling.
Ooh, can I tell you who I think is right?
Go ahead.
I do like that there's the two different ones of you so that, one doesn't get lost in the other. So you sort of balance out each other. But I like the processing because what happens when I process sometimes is I have nothing to say. Like I sort of like get it. I shouldn't bring it up. It's just going to point a finger where who gives a shit. It's over. And I'm done. So sometimes I'm like, oh, after I think about it, it's not a problem. I'm glad I didn't say it because I needed some time out of the fog.
Oh yeah. I feel like it depends on.
Rini and I now dating. You can date Keith.
That's fair. I like if one of us is more upset than the other, then I think the other will like gravitate towards the needs of the person who is more impacted. But like if say it's equal, like I now understand it can be valuable to, have you heard this expression? Strike when the iron is cold. Like not in the heat of the moment, not in the heat of passion, like let things settle and then be like, let the PMS of the moment or the hunger of the moment, take care of all of the other factors. Like there is something that you're upset about, but then once you care for all of your needs and have time to reflect, then like, oh, what is the real thing that then we can, reconvene and talk about, from a calmer, zoomed out perspective.
Okay. I think it helps during that time to say, how could this be my fault? Because if you can't even at all see that this in no way could be your fault, even as an exercise, if it were my fault, how would it be my fault? And then you might come up to like, oh, I haven't been eating, or I'm just being stubborn about this, or this is how I wanted it to happen, so I keep acting like it did.
But say that to yourself. How could I be wrong? I say it out loud. I'm like, how could I be wrong?
Right.
Think.
Yeah. Asking yourself is different than asking another person. I think on one of the bonus philosophical chats that we had, Chemda, I shared with you the thing from my psychologist friend Gus about a person who in a group asked him a question about like, okay, if I'm in a situation where somebody's on one side of a door and won't open it and the other one's knocking and being like, hey, let me in, well, open the door, and the other one's not opening the door, he's like, which is the person who is supposed to like use the skills that we're talking about here? Who's the person who's supposed to do the thing? And Gus says, well, it depends. Which person are you? Because the answer to your problems can't be somebody else has to change. Somebody else has to do something differently. Because you can't control somebody else. You can, in a partnership, let somebody know like, hey, could you do this? Would you mind in these situations? But if somebody else doesn't behave the way that you want them to, like you can leave, you can stop talking to them, you can stop being involved. But it's like the rain. If you're out in the rain, the answer to you're getting wet can't be, it should stop raining.
I see that. I get that. These fucking mushrooms, I tell you. Now, you learned, of course, to be nice with ayahuasca. This is some time ago. Mm-hmm. Any new trips? Any new anything new that you learned, like chew well before you swallow? What's new with ayahuasca in your brain? Anything like that?
Thanks for asking. I mean, over the pandemic, I didn't do it at all. And I did do it once since return, like everything has been sort of opening up. And I guess
with a shaman, like, do I need a shaman?
I mean, I wouldn't recommend just like buying it from a guy out of a trench coat on the street, right. Like a sort of like opens a trunk and be like, I've got all your DMT
I've seen those guys.
Here.
They also have really nice Rolexes.
Everything's fentanyl now, by the way, right? So I don't think I want to mess around. But kind of
are we talking about mushrooms or ayahuasca? Right
ayahuasca? You
Okay.
mentioned your second vaccine. Sounds like friends camping might be happening. Is that stupid to do ayahuasca then?
Like
Are you asking
in a group camping?
I'm asking Mike.
I mean, I think that
Or do we need to pay for a shaman or something?
I mean, I think that it's important for me. I've always done it with a guide who like made the stuff, and then I mean, if you can do whatever you want, but yeah, I think
the journey an actual journey. Like, do I have to go to Peru to like get it? Like that's
you don't
part of
have
the process,
to.
you know.
There's definitely places throughout the
Brooklyn.
Yeah, throughout Brooklyn and North America, where it is happening, it is available. It's not required, but
Why, Keith? Are you thinking about doing it? Like,
Yeah.
if Mike just now said you don't need a guide, or I can tell you where to find this guide for your group camping, you would do ayahuasca?
Maybe.
Oh, how come?
I vomited over worse. You know, why not? Why not learn something and vomit?
Oh yeah, that's what you want. Man, Keith really is becoming me.
You're both at about the same beard level. This is weird.
Right.
Oh, both wearing glasses now. You both recently got
Oh.
a haircut.
Keith, what's happening?
Well, you know, it's
You've got a
crazy
guitar. I play guitar.
It's a crazy time for all of us.
You did a special. You're in it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We were really twins. What am I thinking about doing later today, Mike?
That's a great question. You might go down to New Jokes at the Comedy Cellar, but here's the thing: is it's hard for me to now differentiate like the lessons like gleaned from like one particular ayahuasca experience compared to also like the meditations like teachers that I'm listening to like when I wake up in the morning. And I mean, I feel like a thing that keeps coming into my experience now is sort of like, you know, impermanence and the way that like believing that we are, you know, that we have this somehow seemingly permanent self, like that we're like, you know we were different as a baby, and we know that we're gonna die, and we know that like every step between baby and here and death, like we feel like we're the same person, but we're not. But it's like that sameness, that the idea that we are this self is the thing that like leads to suffering, because we're like, oh, I can't run as fast as I used to. Oh no, like it feels like I've lost something, or it hurts now, or like I stretch more in the morning, or I sleep worse, or whatever's happening to my body. Like, you know, my mom goes to the doctor and she's like, hey, my thumb hurts from this operation that we had, and it didn't used to hurt this much this long, so can you change that? And like there are some things that can improve along the way, but there are some things that at a certain point we're like, well, I guess the body's just doing this now, you know?
I was, and then you throw up all over the place.
Oh yes, we've dosed Keith's coffee with ayahuasca, and this there actually isn't a podcast happening right now. This is all happening in Keith's mind. Keith is manifesting.
It's true. I think Keith thinks that he's been to 2 ayahuasca ceremonies, and really that's just the roast that I produced for us.
Right.
And he just gets on there and it's like, Keith, did you know the reality is you're like...
Right.
He's like, okay, very clarifying. Thank you.
Mike has a genius idea for an app. Was this ayahuasca or your brain without it? An app, you know, as nice as he is, there's people in his life he still dislikes. It's an app that blings every time somebody you hated dies. How great would that be? Like when my bullies died, blink, they're dead. I'd be like, yay!
Wait, which one of you is talking right now? Because I think this is an app that Keith created, but you're telling me that Mike created it.
Yeah, Mike created it, but it's a brilliant idea, and we're twins. Because I always find out my bullies die like years later, and it really takes the fun out of it, you know? But if I knew when Roger passed away, that'd be a dream come true. I want to live in the moment. I mean, they do too, but I love the idea of blink, they're dead. I'm like, from 11th grade. Yeah.
So Chemda, this is a bit from my album that I did create this idea. I do understand now that I may also be turning into Keith as Keith is turning into me. Yeah, I think sincerely, I now like there's some kids that like I went to high school with that weren't nice to me. I feel like most people were just like fine and neutral, and like maybe I told you this once. I feel like in the high school of comedy, like Mark Maron is, a few grades ahead of me. And I had he was like the angry comedy dad whose approval I wanted at various points. And one time I was sitting next to him and a woman that he was dating years ago at a show at Meltdown Comics in LA. And he got up and I said, jokingly, not jokingly, to his girlfriend, I said, "What does Mark really think of me?" And she said, "He really only talks about himself." And and I really think that is, the experience that most of us were having in high school and in life is like in high school for me, I was like, oh man, like everything is scary. Like I was small, everyone seemed big, everyone was growing. And like, I had some friends and I had like the things that I was good at and liked in school. But then there were certain people that were like, aggressively mean, actually, not being nice. And like those like, were on the front burner of my experience. And so anybody else who was just like, neutral, I was like, oh, maybe they're mean too. Maybe that whoever hangs out with them, why are they hanging out with that person who's mean? But I mean, at this point now, like, I don't care about that. Like, I mean, I hope that guy has a happy life, because it seemed like whatever was causing him to do that then he didn't have a happy life. He didn't have like a joyful experience at home, in school, whatever was going on.
I didn't know it then, but I didn't know it then. So what can I do about it? And then you think, oh, well, it's not his fault. It's his dad's fault because okay, then I'll fight the dad. But apparently I got to fight Adam and fucking Eve. Like
that's right, Keith.
So I'm going to be mad at Roger. How about
that? What I truly want for you, Keith, is for you to realize that you shouldn't be mad at Roger. You should be mad at his dad, then be mad at his dad, and eventually go back, be mad at Adam and Eve, be mad at God, look, you already were maybe, but like, you're like, that doesn't even necessarily exist in the way that other people think it does. And so just be mad at the Big Bang, or, like, I guess the question is like, I mean, are you happy being mad? Then be mad at whoever,
Ooh, don't ask that, because he really seems happy when he's mad.
Thank you.
Look at the shit-eating grin on his fucking face. Just mentioning, and this is Robert Lafferty, right?
Roger Lafferty.
Roger Lafferty. Why do I know his last name?
Because I make a point when they pass away. I put their tombstone on my website so people can see the pictures and relate.
And so I guess my question is, like, then what's the problem?
None. I think I was just...
That's so funny, because you both just came to the same conclusion. So nobody has a problem. Okay, right. Zen all around. Let's move on.
Yeah, no problem. I was really just trying to shoehorn some jokes. This is interesting. There's the Juneteenth holiday now.
Yeah.
Mike Kaplan's against it. Explain, Mike.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's very fun. We have a lot of fun with lies.
He apologized though. But isn't it something like they told us it's a holiday and we're all like, okay, I mean, Jesus, it should be. But I guarantee if there was a vote on it, you'd have assholes being like, oh, don't we have Lincoln's birthday? No, not really. It just seems like a lot. But now it's like, here's the new truth. It's like, yeah, of course. I think my point is we got to get people's opinions less.
Sure. I mean, in this case, I believe there was a vote on it in Congress, and that's what made it be a holiday.
Nah, those don't count.
Oh, okay. But
I mean, when you include the idiot people.
Yeah, the people who voted for Congress. So it's like a multi,
Back to Adam and Eve and the Big Bang. Who do we get mad at?
And it wasn't 100% vote, by the way. It wasn't 100%.
Is it ever?
It was in one of the houses, wasn't it?
I believe the Senate, and then the House wasn't. 14 people were like, nope.
It is crazy. It is pretty bananas. Did you see I shared a fun thought I had about it?
Explain.
That I'll share this fun thought with you. Thank you so much. None of this is planned. We didn't do a pre-interview or anything, and that's true. I'm just so of course the holiday.
Why do you sound like a liar when you tell the truth?
I am.
So
this is the only tone I have.
That's what
I have no other tones.
Yes.
You have to just know the truth. Believe that I am being sincere. You know me. You truly look. It's like a magic show where the magician says to the audience, "Now we've never met, have we?" And the person's like, "No, we've never met." And like nobody else in the audience, we just have to. Okay, I believe you, but like the only two people who know whether they've ever met are those two people. And right now, you are the two people in on this. And I'm like, look, I've never told you this before, and you know that this is true, unless you saw me tweet it. So the holiday Juneteenth celebrates, of course, the final people who had previously been enslaved, Black people in Texas, who had not heard 2.5 years earlier that Lincoln had emancipated them, that they were free.
There's some blurry lines there, right? Hadn't heard.
I mean,
okay, right.
My
Pick up a paper.
2.5 years. Okay. What else took you 2.5 years to find out?
I mean, I guess I don't know who I'm sure that we're on the same side here, but I truly believe there wasn't the internet. People weren't getting news
Let me just be clear. I am saying that the slave owners heard it and they weren't passing the news because they wanted to milk some more time. I'm saying everybody heard. Texas was just the last one to go, oh, what are you saying? Hold on. Oh, Mary just got here on her donkey and is saying some crazy shit happening.
Yeah, news still got around. Tom Hanks was going town to town and reading the paper to people. So yeah, they heard about it. They fucking heard about it. Of course.
Anyway, I think you were saying something, Mike.
Oh yeah. So the point is that it took 2.5 years for everyone to eventually have the emancipation implemented in some specific meaningful way. And so I now, here's me. I'm just very glad that the news about Juneteenth is finally starting to reach white people decades and decades later. So, right. And it's really bananas that there are people who are like, somebody responded to my post online. They're like, yeah, get over it. It's so long ago. And it's number one, it's now being recognized newly. And then a bunch of other people were like, yeah, you know what else was long ago? Thanksgiving. Why are we still celebrating that? There's a lot of holidays that we our Independence Day, the day that we celebrated, we're like, we are free Americans. And they're like, let's how about wait until
why are you celebrating your birthday? Your birth was so long ago at this point. But I have a feeling that person says that statement to a lot of spaces in his life. Like, hey, you cheated on me. That was so long ago. Could we please just move on?
Yeah, let's just live in the present.
Yeah, that helps. That's like telling someone to relax. Just relax, but yelling it. Good job.
Yeah.
How are you, by the way, now that the pandemic's over? Is it a switch or just thank God? No, I read the paper. I understand what I just said. But now that you can be out and about.
Yeah, I think the differentiation that I've heard that seems useful in our country, at least, is that the lockdown is over. The quarantine is over. The stay at home necessity, if you are vaccinated, is over, while the pandemic, of course, runs ramshackle over ramrod. It does its thing.
Feels like a ramrod, yeah.
Yeah. Here's where I'm at is during the past year was very fortunate to be able to live and work in some capacity from home, and accepted, did what I could, and sort of found like within the context of all of the challenges, joy. And so I'm actually feeling like a little bit of anxiety, like with like restarting, when nobody was doing anything, it was like, okay, we're all even. We're all in this together. And now, like a bunch of comedians are like, I've got a slate of shows for the summer. And I'm like, hey, I thought we were even. Everybody, wait. Now do I have to? And so I'm keeping in mind that having not gone out essentially for anything non-essential for a year, like I'm capable of being myself and being a comedian and being a creative person without multiple shows every night. That said, I am also back to doing as many shows as, I guess maybe not as many shows as I can, but like if I have a night off, if I have a few nights off, I'm working on being like, this is nice. I like my home. I like my life. I like my partner. I like books and I like watching things. I like, engaging. So I feel like
I remind yourself that you like that stuff. So
yeah.
that you're not a workaholic, because work comes with the result more right away. So if you're reading, it's like, well, yeah, I'm calm, but what's actually happening? Well, you're calm. Yeah, but like, what do I get?
Oh yeah. Like right now, I have a gig. I have a college performance, my first in-person college performance since before, like at the end of August in Utah. So I'm going to fly to Utah and do a show. And then I might also stick around to do some other shows that it seems like they might come through, they might not come through. Right now I'm in a stage where I'm like I haven't booked my flight yet. So I'm like, part of my brain is like, spinning around and being like, but the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be, to get the car rental, to get the hotels, to get the flights, to get all the things. And I'm like, well, whatever happens, I'll either go there for a day or I'll go there for a week. Like whatever it is, it's going to happen based on information that I don't completely have yet. And so I am working on being okay with that ambiguity, being okay with that, anxiety that arises, that I'm like, look, it's more gigs in Utah, that even one is more. One Utah gig, Dayenu. I don't know if, Keith, you're familiar with the concept of Dayenu, but it's... Okay, of course.
Big. I mean, for those who don't get it.
I'll explain. Of course, Keith and I being the same, and Chemda, a deputy the same as us. Dayenu is like, I'd say it's like the second most popular Jewish song. It's like dreidel and then a big drop off, but coming in silver medal, in my understanding, is Dayenu, or maybe Everything by Barbra Streisand. But Dayenu is like, it's like, if this was all we had, then it would be enough. If only this much, if only one show, then that would be enough. That Dayenu is like, it would be enough if it was just this. I'm grateful for even the smallest piece of what it is. If it was not even everything. Oh, dude, I don't think that's important.
Do you know the song? Dayenu, 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 Dayenu.
Even just a small piece of the song would be enough. Absolutely. I don't think
the rest of the lyrics are like, it's from Passover. It's from the book of Passover, and it's like, well, if God would have freed us from slavery, but wouldn't have helped us cross into some other safe space, that would have been fine. If He would have freed us, got us to some other safe space, but didn't do the next step, that would have been fine. And for everything you say, you go, Dayenu, Dayenu.
You know what? Mike brings up a great point. For God to create all the notes and all the music that's out there, these priests and rabbis sure do sing some shitty fucking songs. Priests have two notes. The Father is with us, and that is happening. And then dreidel, dreidel, dreidel is the most popular song. That was a great point.
I thank you so much, Keith. It really does seem like, I mean, I feel like you guys planned this more than I did. But yeah, so I feel like what I'm in answering your question from an hour ago.
There was a question?
How do I feel about getting back out there in the world? What with
you feel Dayenu.
I am striving to focus on gratitude for what I have, and that for the past year there was nothing possible. Even if moving forward, it's like, oh, here's a something, as opposed to it looking like so many other people are like doing these giant everythings, you know?
Right. Well, you are back to work. If you look at MikeKaplan.com, you'll see his tour dates. They're coming up a lot. And Chemda has her second shot, so she can start living like a person soon. It sounds like the second shot there wasn't a mess like the first one. Am I right?
This person's desk was different. Like, you got to go to their little cubicle. Their needle was facing exactly straight on the table. Everything had its little spot. Like, you can tell there wasn't like a chalk outline or anything, or like, like here's your marker or whatever. But I bet after she threw away that needle or whatever the fuck you do, the next needle came exactly in that spot also. Right. She only asked me normal questions, didn't say God is good one time. Like, the last person.
What was the questions like? Is it like an OGBYN or something? What's your favorite color? Green. What's your second favorite color? Red. You're free to go. Do you have any thoughts on my Christmas colors? No, didn't give a fuck.
No, they're normal questions. What happened last time you took the shot? Did you have any negative things? You might have some negative things now. What's the autoimmune thing that was mentioned on here? And I said, it's myasthenia gravis. She's like, okay. And maybe had a follow-up on that made sense. Although the person checking us in, you ever go to like, I don't know, even like CVS or some pharmacy or something that has a lot of aisles. And you go, hey, where can I get this thing? And they just look in a general direction and wave their head that way. Yep. And you're like, there are 26 aisles here. Can you just say a number? And
I get lost easily. I'm like, I'm going to be your boss by accident if you keep fucking doing that.
Yeah, for Keith, you have to tell him it's aisle 24, and that's between 25 and 23. So just a little more context.
Thank you.
So this is, she's going, do you guys have email on your phone? And we're like, yeah. And she's like, okay. I go, okay, my email is Chemda, and she's like, what? I don't, just check your email. I'm like, did you just send me? She knows her job so much. I'm supposed to bring up the QR code. I thought she was sending me an email, and she's like, QR code. And I'm like, what? You can't, there's a full sentence here that will help both of us move faster.
You didn't know if I would have email like everybody does, but you just throw out QR code.
Right. Yeah, I'm happy to help you here. And plus, we're all still wearing masks indoors. So she's like, come closer. And I'm like, well, coming closer would just not be the thing that we're doing, but I'm here closer. So why don't you just say, or have the 3 things behind you on your wall that say like, pull up your email. And if you don't want to say the words because you're saying them 5,000 times, write them down. I'll read them.
Right. I went to the Javits Center when I got mine. That's literally a military operation. And I see the first guy in a military uniform, and he's like, you have the email about the about your appointment today. I'm like, oh no, I didn't get an email. Like, you did. I'm like, okay, well, here it is then. Okay, go this way. All right, sorry about that. Thank you for your service.
Chemda, I recommend next time you get a shot, ask them how long you should keep the Band-Aid on.
I don't want to.
That's fine. I mean, it does make for good podcasting. You have a couple hours to fill. Be like, should I leave it on for this long, for that long? Like, have a game show.
I don't want to, because I don't want them to tell me like, it's do whatever you want. It's a Band-Aid. Right. When do you feel okay?
Now you could. It's actually for you guys just to feel better. So you think something happened. You can't even see it already. Right.
I like that you think that a medical professional, I'm not going to say that they definitely wouldn't do this, and there's no people that would, but just to role play briefly, you saying to the medical professional, what do you, like, how long should I keep this Band-Aid on for? What are you talking about? Do whatever you want. Who cares?
Right.
Like, okay. I will give you that is not how it's supposed to go. But let's remember the last time I went for a shot, the person who was about to stick me with a needle was sharing with me how she doesn't really believe in this vaccine.
Oh, yeah. Don't ask that person, but do ask the person whose needle was arrayed as, in a perfect configuration.
Listen, I'm not like everyone who tells me they're a nurse is a nurse. You know what I mean? And then also everyone who is a nurse is a nurse. I haven't seen their marks in school. They could have gotten a D+ and become a nurse, like all the way through. An average of what, 70 gets you a diploma? I don't.
Right.
To be fair, I just recommend asking all of the nurses then. And if they say, I don't believe in Band-Aids, then don't include that information in
Let me tell
in
you
your
what
experiment.
that brought up the movie As Good as It Gets, where he goes, do you have soft shell crabs? Do you have soft shell crabs? He's just asking everybody along the way, because if he gets one wrong answer, it's inconsistent. And now what do we do? So I'll take a poll next time. I'll walk from booth to booth, and hopefully I don't ever have to do that. But hopefully we'll be out of a pandemic next time I have to get a shot.
I also, I hear you and feel you with respect to not knowing.
The Zoom's not breaking up. Okay.
Chemda,
Cool,
it seems I'm trying to tell you a sincere thing, and you are trying to put on a comedy show.
No, that's just my tone. My tone is just funny all the time.
We all have tones.
I think only everyone except for me has a tone.
Robots have tone.
I'm the only one with no tone. I sincerely don't. I'm trying to empathize with you, Chemda, that I also keep on Band-Aids longer than probably I have to, because, better have a moldy Band-Aid than sorry,
I keep it on for a little bit, actually, and I say to my girlfriend, I'm like, oh, you got to be on top, Band-Aid.
That makes sense.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, my arm's weak. You can tell, Band-Aid.
What are you doing with your arms so much?
I don't want to brag.
You know what? We're
push-ups, balancing, yeah.
Put Xerxes on the phone. I use my arms.
We've learned a little bit about Chemda.
Because you're holding yourself up. Okay, right. You're on the bottom. Okay, I'm done. This is why I don't ask Band-Aid questions.
Just does it with feet. Yeah.
He hovers.
Yeah.
You want to follow Mike Kaplan on social media, of course, everywhere. It's MYQ Kaplan. His website is Mike Kaplan. Some time ago, you had this stupid fucking idea that you were going to go from MYQ to MIKE. Is that idea over? And don't go by me just saying what a dumb idea that was.
Oh, thanks. Well, I would say that my legal given name is Michael, Michael, and an abbreviation for that commonly is MIKE.
Like a person, right?
Yeah. And as such, that is my name, and I answer to it. And if people write it down,
how do you know? By the way, you answer to it. How would you fucking know?
I answer to any spelling that's pronounced Mike. If people say Mike and it sounds friendly,
I kept switching it up whole interview.
Wow. At this point, it seems like it doesn't matter. So the answer is I haven't really been thinking about it, but thank you for asking.
Okay. I still own MIKEKaplan.com, so.
But,
if you do change your mind, we'll talk. But in the meantime, I like MYQ better.
You're that wildlife photographer? That it used to be a wildlife photographer who had it, I believe, and I wanted to talk to him and be like, if you send people to me, if they come looking for me, then I like animals, Right. But it didn't work out.
You didn't get a response.
No, I don't think I've ever talked to that. I don't think I've ever heard from the wildlife photographer, right. Mike Kaplan.
He's like, yeah, let's be best buddies now forever. But anything's possible, right? You and me, look how good we sound. We're best guys. It only took 16 years. But I think I understand you.
Do you remember the first time you were on? I don't know if you do.
I believe the first time was probably when I was dating Micah Fox. So I think that we probably came on and you had us do a like a guessing game, like now each of you put down like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how likely you are to stay together, and I put a smiley face or something, and we were just off to the races, just. The races of friendship, which, the thing that I was saying earlier, is true for me, that sometimes in the past, I would come away from our podcast experiences and I would be like, man, Keith he's really a strong personality. He is argumentative. He really like cares about specific things. He really thinks that he's right. And like Rini would be like, oh, he's like that, is he? And I was like, you're on my side here. She's like, we're all on the same side. I was like, hey, I do have to eat, but
right, here's some water.
Yeah.
She throws water at your face. That should help. Well, I mean, who's the best? It's Mike Kaplan, of course. Other than the tour dates, anything else people should know? Because I'm ready for another album.
I appreciate it. I am. So specific dates that I'll highlight real quick is if you're listening to this before June 24th of 2021, I am doing an online show that you can watch from anywhere, like you're doing right now. Maybe you're listening, maybe you're watching, but it's at the Nowhere Comedy Club. The date's on my website, and all the other ones are there. But yeah, I also put out a weekly newsletter that's full of jokes that comes out for free once a week or more if you subscribe, called Art Nuggets on Substack. I've got
subscriber.
Oh, thank you so much.
And the podcasts, of course.
Oh, yes, of course. The podcast that you've both been on is Broccoli and Ice Cream. And the one that neither of you has been on because it's only me is The Faucet. And yeah, all the albums that you already mentioned, I appreciate. And yeah, there'll be other albums coming like over the pandemic. If I feel like I wrote and performed online enough material that could fill like 4 new albums. So there will be new albums coming, but I'm getting back in shape. The hour that's called Imperfect right now, doing it in Union Hall in Brooklyn soon. And then that's what I'm taking on the road. And so I'm excited to do that. And that should be at least one of the next albums that's coming your way as soon as possible.
I'm in 100%. Mike, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Keith, for looking exactly like me.
KeithAndTheGirl.com